Chapter 14. Excuse me, but are you Miss Xiao? Xiao Wan looked up to find a middle-aged man entering the room. He was trembling and had to be supported by Zhao Wei.
The younger Miss Xiao, yes.
The man was Shen Qi, Xie Chuchen's father. He had damaged his eyes from overcrying when his wife passed. Even after 3 years of treatment, his condition refused to improve. His vision was so bad he could only make out vague shadows. Despite his poor health, he had rushed over to Xie Chuchen's courtyard when he found out about Xie Qingrong's plan. He had been staggering along when Zhao Wei ran into him. Zhao Wei told him about everything that had happened, about Xie Chuchen forcing Xiao Wan to marry him, and about how she was here now, recognizing him as her husband. Both Xiao Wan and Xu Qing were well-known children in Eastern Wei. In Shen Qi's opinion, marrying Xiao Wan to avoid Xu Qing was like jumping from the pan into the fire. Father-in-law, please, call me 1 year. Xie Chuchen is changing in his room right now. Rest assured, he's in good hands. Shen Qi rushed over to her, overexerting himself in the process. He broke out in a coughing fit because of it. Her sincere reassurance had surprised him. Was this gentle-mannered, modestly dressed young woman really the renowned, fearsome, good-for-nothing young miss of the Xiao house? Xiao Wan quickly poured a cup of warm water and carefully handed it to him.
My servant maid, Yunyan, is well versed in the art of healing. Would father-in-law mind having her take a reading of your pulse?
The imprisonment in her previous life had left a strong imprint on Xiao Wan's heart. She no longer had the same ideas about hierarchy. Her worldviews had changed, and she was behaving according to those changes. For her, it was a gradual change from all the abuse. But for everyone else, it was like she was changing in front of their eyes. The surprise created waves of unease in everyone's hearts. After all, who was Xiao Wan, and what was she known for? While everyone knew she was born with a silver spoon in her mouth, she was also known for her contempt of the poor. Yet here she was, earnestly and solicitously caring for a partially blind man. The cool-headed Yunyan had to pick her mouth off the floor.
Thank you for the concern, Miss Xiao. Apologies for the trouble, Yun.
Yunyan immediately stepped up and took his hand. No one missed the fact he politely addressed Xiao Wan with the formal and more distant Ms. Xiao, and not the informal 1 year as requested. Yunyan's brow grew more knitted the longer she read his pulse. Her heart sank at what she learned. But when she saw Xiao Wan's hopeful gaze, she schooled her expression into a neutral one. In a tactful voice she said,
It's not incurable. As long as the proper medicine is dispensed, it should be possible to heal his eyes. My father's illness, it can really be cured?
Xie Chuchen had finished changing some time ago, but had remained behind the screen, quietly listening in on the conversation. He rushed out at Yunyan's words and nearly tripped in his hurry. Xiao Wan saw a burst of white and smelled a fleeting fragrance pass by. She reached out to study him, but was distracted by the dimples on his cheek. She stared at the clean-up Xie Chuchen in front of her. The white outfit he changed into gave him a different air from the red one he wore for the wedding. Today, he was an ethereal beauty. The only thing marring the image was the slightly skewed collar that exposed his collarbone, and the peaks of undergarment showing through. However, instead of taking away from the image, these things only served to lend him an air of seductiveness. Joy flashed through Xiao Wan's eyes, the kind of joy Yunyan had never seen before. Then, just as suddenly, Xiao Wan's lips pursed in consternation as she remembered the previous life. They pursed even more when she noticed Xie Chuchen's swollen right ankle. She once again reached out to support him, helping him hold up his precariously draped robe that was beginning to slip off of him.
Yes, it is just that the medicine is dragon's blood. It is very precious and can only be found in the royal pharmacy.
Xiao Wan saw the hopeful light dim in Xie Chuchen's eyes. Wanting to get it back, she spoke without thinking.
Don't worry. Mother oversees the Ministry of War. If she asks, it shouldn't be a difficult thing to get.
Xiao Wan hugged Xie Chuchen from behind, arranging herself in such a way so as to cover his bare skin with her own clothes. Yunyan opened her mouth to say something, but firmly closed it at the glare Xiao Wan shot her.
Miss Xiao.
The hug from behind surprised Xie Chuchen. Though Shen Qi's vision was limited, he could navigate the world by the shapes he saw around him. He looked straight at Xie Chuchen and the shape embracing him from behind that had to be Xiao Wan. His father's gaze made Xie Chuchen blush in embarrassment, and he subtly tried to push Xiao Wan away a few times, but all it got him was her head nuzzling his neck.
If you don't want your father to worry, then listen to me and don't call me Miss Xiao anymore. Can you do that? Yes, I'm your wife and lord. Understand?
Before Xie Chuchen could fully digest that comment, Xiao Wan had picked him up princess style. As she stepped into an adjacent room, she called out,
Yan Yan, I'll leave father-in-law in your care.
They were alone. Xie Chuchen darted his eyes left, right, up, down, all over the place, not sure where to rest his gaze. He was nervous and confused. Xiao Wan laid him down on the bed, and without a word lifted his robe. Xie Chuchen came to his senses, and he looked at her like a frightened deer. In one swift yank, she pulled the boot off his injured foot.
Xiao,
Xie Chuchen's head was hazy and overheating. He wanted this to stop.
Father and Xiao are outside. We can't.
His voice came out in a hoarse whisper when he finally gathered his thoughts enough to be coherent. Then he yelped. He looked down to see what Xiao Wan was doing with his ankle, only to find her massaging it. His brain was about to blow up. What was happening? He didn't understand. Plus, it was painful. Xiao Wan hummed.
Does it hurt here?
She firmly kneaded the area twice more. Xie Chuchen nearly doubled over in pain.
You're in such bad shape and you still insist on running around. Pay attention to your body more and take care of your injuries better.
Xiao Wan looked up after she said her piece. She reflexively swallowed at the sight that greeted her. Xie Chuchen was gasping, and it made his lush lashes flutter to the rhythm of his breathing. He was trying to act tough by biting his lip and holding it in, but Xiao Wan wasn't fooled. She could see the shimmer of tears in his eyes. His aggrieved expression hit her hard, and she had to clear her throat a couple of times. The scolding she intended to give him died away. She lowered her head and instead mumbled,
Just remember to pay attention so you don't get hurt again.
The worry was clear in her eyes. She took out a cooling ointment and carefully spread it on his swollen skin. Xie Chuchen stared blankly at her. Was Xiao Wan worried about him? Wait. Earlier, didn't she say she was his wife and lord? He was jubilant and through the roof. It was well worth it for a tiny sprained ankle. Xiao Wan relaxed after the ointment was rubbed in. Done with the job, she looked back up at Xie Chuchen, only to have her heart nearly jump out of her chest. How did this boy keep surprising her? Xie Chuchen blinked his big eyes at her. His robe had slid down one side, revealing smooth, creamy shoulders. His thin undergarments didn't do much to cover him. It was so easy to see through them. His hands were warm and soft, his lips slightly parted, inviting like a flower petal. It was a come-hither look if ever there was one. Xiao Wan lost herself staring at him. She kept looking for who knows how long. Eventually Xie Chuchen realized his state of dress, and so, in an embarrassed frenzy, tightly wrapped his robe around himself. Xiao Wan was charmed by the adorably shy gesture, and tendrils of desire slowly formed in her. She knew what love was, having felt it before in her previous life, but staring at Xie Chuchen now was like being in love for the first time, as though the past her never existed. Yan Yan's voice interrupted her reverie. At the voice, both turned to the screen.
Mistress, the Shu people are here and they're causing trouble. They're demanding Xie Qingrang hand over Xie Chuchen.
Xiao Wan thought, finally, about time they showed up. After composing herself, she turned to Xie Chuchen and said,
Pack what you need. You and your father are going back home with me to the Xiao house.
She thought she'd calm her desires down. Who knew, as soon as she looked at him, it would rage back up again. Out of self-preservation, Xiao Wan moved away from that delicious body. She didn't have the confidence to leave him alone if she was that close. She tried to distract herself by chanting the sutras in her mind. She couldn't help but compare Xie Chuchen with Shumo. Such a cold and cheerless personality. How could it compare with the person in front of her now? Such hot passion. The two men were nothing at all alike. Had there been something wrong with her eyes in the previous life? How could she have overlooked Xie Chuchen's charm? At this point, her blood was rushing into a certain organ of her body. But she still noticed the silence, and it made her nervous. Afraid Xie Chuchen would refuse, she added,
It'll be safer for both of you at the Xiao house. Plus, it'll be more convenient, too. It'll be easier to heal father-in-law's eyes, and no one will force you to marry anyone you don't want to. Xie Chuchen, don't worry. I'll definitely take care of you.
She rushed out of the room after saying this. Mistress.
With the complicated look on her face, Union gave Xiaowan a handkerchief. Here. This earned her a fierce glare.
Xiaowan took a moment to compose herself into a proper young lady of high breeding. She had lost her composure in front of Xie Chuchen earlier, so she had to make sure not to be so lax going forward. She coughed to clear her throat before speaking.
All right, Yunyun, what do you have for me?
Yunyun became somber and her voice turned cold as she remembered the odd pulse reading from earlier.
Mr. Shen's blindness isn't serious, but the fact that it's still ailing him, even after 3 years, is troubling. I was suspicious, so I checked his medicine, and I found narcotics in the soup that accompanies it. Not only are they addictive, but they will worsen his condition if taken for prolonged periods of time.
Xiaowan sucked in a breath. Narcotics? So, a father-in-law didn't lose his vision from grief, but from malicious sabotage? Yunyun hesitated for a moment before replying.
Possibly. Grief may have caused Mr. Shen's blindness, but whoever made the medicine for him didn't want him to recover. So narcotics were added to it. He would be unfit to manage the house and easier to manipulate.
It was obvious who made the medicine. Xiaowan's face turned cold and her fingers tightened into fists. She really wanted to kill someone. Xie Qingrang. Back in the room, Xie Chuchen was still recovering, trying to calm his blushing face. It wasn't until his father spoke to him that he stopped staring after Xiaowan.
Her, huh?